Hi there, this is John Drew here from Elevated Planet, and today I am here with my friend, Mr. Chris Stiles, who is a human futurist. And he runs his business, which is all about the human futurology side of things. Hi, Chris, how are you doing?
Hello, John. Lovely to see you again and really looking forward to this chat. Thank you. When I sit down with the CEO of a top company and I unpack his blueprint with and through his name and his date of birth, and I reveal it to him, and he sits there and he's absolutely stunned by the design of his life and how he can see exactly how things have happened according to a plan. All of a sudden, everything that he knows to or thinks to be true around his date of birth and his name disappear out the window. Because now they think to themselves, how is it possible that the architecture of my life is laid through an experiential matrix of numbers, data, sequences, and patterns, and that the two critical elements of this are my name, which I thought was just a random thing provided by my parents, and a date of birth into, oh, well, that's when I popped. The point that I am making is that the first step to wisdom, the first step to transformation, the first step to enlightenment for people out there, the billions of people out there, is to actually take the bold step into the realm of embracing the fact that actually we know and understand nothing. The moment you get there, then suddenly you've opened up your entire mind. If you are brave enough to open up your mind around the architecture of your date of birth and your name, then you can begin to open your mind to the architecture of your family, your children, your this, your that, and it just goes and goes and goes. Your life, your career, the changes, this, that, the world, the governments, etc. And suddenly you realize that, well, what if we actually don't have the first clue about what is really going on? And John, that is where I am at.
Yeah.
That is where I am at. I am at the point where I realize that I am absolutely fundamentally ignorant to everything that is going on. It is literally, John, I guess it's almost as if I am living or existing or experiencing a life through a state of complete amnesia.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If there is a part of me that maybe understands what is going on, behind the scenes, that part of me just doesn't actually connect with that anymore, because I am really living and existing in this world in a state of complete amnesia. That is, of course, if you would like to embrace the thinking that the soul is infinite, the soul never dies, and that basically the soul is on this constant journey, and that what if, as I look at you and as I look at me, you are not John and I am not Chris. All we are basically the soul manifested into a human body in order to be able to have a human experience and learn and grow on the back of that.
100%.
And John, you spoke about the tremendous shift that took place as we moved out of the 1900s into the 2000s. Well, let's just take a big step back, John. The 1900s was governed by the number 19.
Yeah.
Now, when you unpack the number 19, what have you basically got? You've got the number 1 on the number line and the number 9 on the number line, the two very, very furthest points. Together they make 10, and together they make 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 is all about the individual, me, the ego, achievement, dominance, the masculine energy, win at all costs. If you look at the world of business, it has been win at all costs. You have to be number 1. You have to be number 1. What is the narrative that has come out of America? Always, if you go to any personal development or self-growth seminar around, with Americans leading, it's all about winning in the world of business, winning in the world of life, winning this, being number 1, being the best, being the richest. That is the narrative that Trump brings to the table. That's what makes him so incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
because he's bringing an archaic narrative to the table when actually we've moved beyond the number 19. And ironically, the number 19, John, when you look at it through the lenses of human futurology research, is all about independence.
Right.
Okay? So if that is the energy that was governing that century, then I, Chris, am independent of you, John. And you, John, are independent of me, Chris. Are you with me? And we shall compete. And we shall see who comes out on top. And there's this alpha dominance energy. John, that is done. It's over. It's finished. So the reason the world is in the state it's in, the reason the world is in the chaos it is in, is because we've moved from 19 to 20.
Yes.
And as I mentioned at the beginning of this interview, what is the number 20? It's a 2 and a 0. And what is the 0? The 0 only serves to be an amplification.
Yes.
And what is the number 2? It's the feminine energy. So, John, when we shifted from the 1990s into the early 2000s, what it was the raw war beginning between the independent, ego-driven, masculine energy and the cooperative, supportive, nurturing, feminine energy. Now, these two energies are at war with each other at the moment.
Yes.
And they are going to be at war with each other for a long time, because the male energy, the 19, which is still around in residual form but getting weaker, wants to dominate. And the 20 energy is saying, hold on a moment, we've actually had enough. It's my turn, and you are going to actually toe the line.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying this, John, is because if we look at 2024, and this is another one of the black swan events that I'm working on. And when I say a black swan event, John, a black swan event is one that people just didn't see coming.
Yeah.
And it's actually incredibly unexpected. It shocks the world when it happens. Yet when you look back, it actually makes perfect sense. It makes hindsight is a perfect science. That's what a black swan event is. And I believe that we are going to see a black swan event through the upcoming US election.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why I say this, John, is because there is so much fire in the system now, and look, John, as given the nature of the year, given where we're going, we are most definitely looking at a year where on an election level, America is literally going to eat itself alive from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got the likes of Trump bringing this archaic, warlike narrative. Make America great again. There couldn't be anything more number 19, passe, gone, done, dusted than that. But it still makes him a very, very dangerous force.
Yes.
To be reckoned with. Then you've got the other side. And the other side is, hold on a moment, how does America transform? Now, there is a very large line of or school of thought out there that Joe Biden is not going to take the Democrats into the presidential election. Having analyzed Biden's numbers through using my intelligent mathematical blueprint technique, I disagree with this.
Okay.
Ironically, Joe Biden has got really, really good numbers this year. In fact, of all the known politicians who are in the running at this moment today for the US presidency or the US election, he's actually the one with the best set of numbers. Okay. Then you've got, look at Biden. He walks up a set of stairs, he falls down, this. So there's also this narrative around the fact that he's a confused old man who hardly knows what's going on. But the interesting thing, John, is when I look at his blueprint, Biden had a critically important attainment sequence for him on an emotional level starting 2021, the very year that he walked into the White House after beating Trump in the 2020 election. And that goes all the way through to 2025, John. So the thing is, Biden is not done. He's not done. I do not see Joe Biden stepping back this year and not being the Democratic nominee that runs for the president. Now, the question comes in, who would be his running mate.
Yes.
And at the moment, the default setting would be Kamala Harris.
Right.
Now, I've analyzed her numbers, and I don't see this happening at all. In fact, her numbers are not positive. Given the fact, John, that we have this incredible war, if you will, this war of attrition on an energy level. I mean, John, here we're not talking about people level. We're not talking about team level. We're not talking about country level. We're talking on a universal level. So this is way, way, way bigger than even America versus Russia. You know, we have this war of attrition that is now taking place on a universal energy level between the one and the two.
Mm.
And what could be the single event that could actually create a massive fissure in favor of the number two energy and really sticking it to the number one would be for America to have its first female president.
Yes.
Now, on the back of that, and with 2024 being a manifestation year, I have done a lot of research and I've done a lot of analytics, and I've looked at Hillary Clinton and I've looked at many of the others, kind of thinking to myself, I sense that this is the year when there could be a black swan event.
Mm.
The one person whose numbers stand out incredibly, especially in 2025, as being a year when literally the numbers are golden in terms of performance, achievement, you know, a pinnacle moment in that individual's life is, believe it or not, Michelle Obama.
Ah, okay.
And
Okay.
John, I wouldn't be at all surprised. In fact, if the Democrats are incredibly strategic, and look, they obviously will not understand the work that I do, this human futurology research, because at this moment in time, it's not even used in a decision or strategic making framework because it's so new. It's really only, if you will, beginning to knock at the door, you know, in terms of its existence. But if they were really strategic and they had this information, they wouldn't even hesitate.
Mm.
You know, they would do everything possible to ensure that Michelle Obama is Biden's running mate. Because if you partner them, they are unstoppable. They are unbeatable. And then also, it makes for the perfect transition into America's first female president, where given Joe Biden's themes in 2025, he would then relinquish the reins, having taken the Democrats to victory against the Republicans. And also on that note, Ron DeSantis' numbers are not great. So anyone thinking that he poses a major threat needs to have a massive rethink.
Okay.
So really, everything at this moment in time is actually advantage Democrats.
Mm.
And bringing in Michelle Obama as his running mate would literally mean that come 2025, having won the election, Biden could call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
And Michelle Obama could step in. And John, the fascinating thing is that her numbers are golden for a prolonged period of time, right through to, I think, about 2034.
Right.
So this could possibly be a double term for her.
Mm.
Now, the other interesting thing is that when I look at Barack Obama's numbers and I unpack his blueprint, I can see that this year, 2024, is an incredibly important year for him in terms of providing support, nurturing, etc., etc. Also, there's a high level of anxiety in his numbers through what is a double two, which has life path significance. So given the fact that they are such a united and a galvanized couple, I think that there is a very high probability that all of a sudden Michelle Obama is going to be announced as Biden's running partner, because that would make perfect sense in terms of her and Barack's architecture. And John, that would set a cat amongst the pigeons, because guaranteed then America will get its first female president. And to me, that would be the event whereby the number two energy, which is cooperative, nurturing, collaboration, far more engaging. What can we do as a collective? It would really stick it to this number one energy. And really, John, the number one energy now needs to get out of the system, because it has been responsible for a lot of damage, a lot of war, a lot of heartache, a lot of chaos. And the number two energy actually is all about searching for peace.
Mm.
And that is how I think it could potentially happen.